Or as Xi Jinping just stood next to Vladimir Putin in Red Square during Russia's Victory Day military parade. But this wasn't just about history, it was about rewriting the world's future. Xi's visit to Moscow wasn't ordinary diplomacy. It came at a moment of global fracture. A war still raging in Ukraine. Trump reigniting a trade war with Beijing. And the West struggling to maintain unity. Putin called Xi his dear friend. Xi, in return, warned the world against American hegemony and compared it to the fascist arrogance of World War II. This wasn't just a photo op. It was a declaration of global realignment. Trade between China and Russia hit $245 billion last year. That's a record. But not the full story. Russia is selling discounted oil and gas to China. And in return, it buys Chinese cars, electronics, and even basic consumer goods. But there's a problem. China's exports to Russia have stalled. Inflation in Russia is high. Demand is falling. Meanwhile, China is cautious. It wants trade, but not sanctions. China's strategy is clear. Extract economic benefit from Russia's isolation, without becoming isolated itself. The data shows momentum, but also fragility. And that fragility could decide the limits of this alliance. Russia needs China more than ever, but China is hedging its bets. Behind the smiles and handshakes in Moscow, Beijing's position is more cautious than it appears. For China, Russia is not an ideal ally. It's a useful partner, in a very limited way. China wants a peaceful end to the Ukraine war, not because it supports Kyiv, but because the conflict is becoming a strategic burden. Every day the war continues. Europe trusts China less. That's why President Xi didn't even mention Ukraine during his Moscow visit. Beijing is playing all sides, talking peace with Europe, buying oil from Moscow, and trying to dodge Trump's new tariffs. China wants to reshape the world order, but without paying the price for it. To win the long game, China needs stability, not global chaos. On May 9th, as tanks rolled across Red Square and fighter jets roared above Moscow, one image stood out. Xi Jinping, standing beside Vladimir Putin. This was no ordinary parade. It was global signaling, psychological warfare, a challenge to the Western narrative. Over 100 Chinese soldiers marched in Red Square, the largest foreign presence in years. The message was clear. We are rewriting history together. At the same time, Ukraine launched drone strikes into Russia. Airports shut down. Moscow was on edge. The Kremlin responded. Europe is preparing for war with Russia, like Nazi Germany once did. Russia used the parade to rewrite the past and justify the present. Victory Day used to be about defeating fascism. Now, it's about deciding who gets to use that word. This isn't just a clash of countries. It's a clash of systems. The West, led by the United States, NATO, and the EU, versus the rising alliance of China, Russia, and the expanded BRICS. One side promotes democracy, rule of law, and open markets. The other defends state control, national sovereignty, and anti-Western values. It's the new Cold War. But this time, it's not about nuclear weapons or proxy wars. It's about who gets to write the rules of the 21st century. China doesn't want to divide the world like the Soviets once did. It wants to lead an alternative global system. No NATO, No liberal democracy. No dollar-based financial order. China wants to replace the system, but not destroy it. Russia is getting weaker. Iran is isolated. BRICS lacks unity. If China isn't careful, it may become the center of a fragile alliance. We are entering an age of divided power, clashing visions, and unpredictable realignments. In this new Cold War, whose side will history take? The world is no longer moving in one direction. It's splitting, ideologically, economically, and militarily. China and Russia aren't just resisting the West. They're building something new. But new doesn't always mean better. It means different. And the choices made today will shape the freedoms, alliances, and futures of generations to come. The new Cold War isn't about who's right. It's about who writes the ending. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps us bring more geopolitical content to global audiences.